What is going on, everybody? Fastlane here, bringing you guys a how to build a drag car in Forza Motorsport 7 video. So, for maybe the 60 people that watched the first one before I deleted it, the video is going to be pretty much the same, just slightly different because I was running friction assist in that video, and if you guys haven't seen my don't use friction assist video, go watch it. It'll explain why you shouldn't use it. And we're going to hop into the build here. So I already purchased this car, but basically we'll go to the auction house or the dealership and show you guys some good cars to start out with if you want, a V8 muscle car, rear wheel drive, or even a import. So obviously you're gonna head over to the big three. I mean, you could run a CTSV, Camaros, ZL1s, Mustangs, Corvettes, Hellcats, anything you want. Just for today's example though, we're using the WS6 Trans Am. So first thing you want to do is head over to the upgrade shop, and ideally you would have purchased a car with at least a 245 tire. This car only makes it only gets a 305 tire on the back, as I'll show you in a second. Obviously we're gonna throw some drag slicks on it. 305s in the rear. If you have the option to put in the 5.9 liter race engine, do it. It makes 1,000 horsepower, all motor, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no nothing. You got instant power. Do it. No V12 swaps here. This isn't, all-wheel drive swap, Jimmy here, or some dumb shit like that. We're building real drag cars, real tunes here. And let's get into it. So for this, I'm going to throw on the whole shot wheels because I already had them purchased. As you can see, I already bought all the upgrades for this car because I filmed this video once already. And we're going to run the skinniest tires we can up front. So 275s, 305s out in the rear, drag compound. You're going to want all of this race for your drivetrain. Also, all of this you're going to want race. You're even going to want to throw the roll cage in it. Oh, I just realized I have to actually upgrade this myself because I had to redo the build. So the reason being we throw a roll cage in a rear wheel drive car is, I know it adds weight, but it also adds rigidity to the vehicle, so therefore you're able to get a faster 60-foot time and be able to put basically your power to the ground without spinning. So once you do all that, you're just going to remove your restrictor plates and make 1,000 horsepower in this car at 2,900 pounds. So once you do that, we're going to head over to the tune, save your upgrades real quick. Forza loading menus are honestly atrocious nowadays. You're going to want to put your front tire pressure all the way up to 55 and your rears to about like 27.0 in that area, between like 26 and 28.5. As for your gears, okay, those gears are weird, interesting. We're going to go back to gears because first we're going to test it just on the stock gearing. As for your front camber, you're going to want positive 5 degrees just because when you have positive 5 degrees, you have the least amount of contact patch touching the ground, creating the least amount of friction. So therefore it's not slowing you down as much. You're going to want 0 on the rest of it, and you're going to want 7.0 front caster. As for any roll bars, you're going to want to do both of them stiff. Springs, you're going to want the softest up front, and you're going to want it as stiff as it can get in the rear. That way you're putting all the flex of the car on the rear wheels. When you hit the gas, the front end will pop up and put more weight on the rear, but your rear end won't squat down and basically take away the momentum that your car is gaining from lifting up the front end towards the back. Some cars, it likes a little bit of squat, but I notice most of the time you want it all the way stiff in the rear. Just trying to explain what everything does to you guys because I know some people are confused. As for rebound and bump stiffness, you're going to want all the way soft in the front, all the way stiff in the rear, and then for your bump stiffness, it's the complete opposite. So you're going to want 13 up front, and then 1 in the rear. As for diff, I like to leave my diffs alone. I've never really noticed a big difference with the diffs. I mean, I might look into it a little more, but I've been racing since Forza 3, and I really haven't messed with my diffs on rear wheel drive cars. So once you have your base tune, with your stock gearing, we'll mess with the gearing later on the track. You're going to want to go out to the test track and do your first run, test the car, get a nice baseline. Okay guys, going into our first run here, we're basically just setting a baseline for what our suspension could do. Obviously your suspension is going to help with your quarter mile. But obviously you see these are some weird gears that are already in the car. There's no way these were stock, because I don't think it Trans Am runs that type of gearing. A quarter mile at 3-speed. It ran in 9.3 second quarter. I'm shooting for the 8s with this car. I feel actually that might be stretching it. We'll find out what she can run. I'm gonna say 9.1. So obviously you guys noticed I was not getting near enough power as what I should be, and I mean you should be basically running a 3-speed with a 1,000 horsepower car. Lower horsepower around 600, you might want to be running like 4 gears. It depends where your power band is. I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. I actually like leaving this all the way down and just messing with the ratios. So your first gear, we're going to want quite a bit of power. Second gear is basically your main chunk that you want to be really, you know, stampeding towards acceleration. And your third gear, you want it to basically top out at the quarter, because that's where your power band is in your upper RPMs anyways. If you have stock factory cams, most of your power band is going to be in the lower RPMs, but when you put race cams in an engine, it really increases the upper end power. So you're definitely going to want that if we're running a NASCAR engine or any other engine with cams in it. So I think that's a good just base setup just to see the difference real quick. I believe it ran like a 9.360 or something. I should have checked. You guys all remembered. You have rewind. Let's see what you can put down this time. Didn't really give it enough throttle input to where we even wanted to leave on the line there, but she hooked up real nice, as you could see. 9.2, and I barely left off the starting line, and we, as you saw, we weren't even close to revving out third gear yet, so there's still a lot more to be desired. I'm going to show you guys how to check your power band in a second, on when you want to be shifting, how you want your gearing to be set so you could shift at the proper time for the maximum amount of power. Let's just fast forward through all of these menus. So once you figure that all out, we're going to want to actually just bring this overall up to like there. That should be right about good. I just like tweaking my, once I have a good ratio set in between gears, I like messing around with the final drive. Just because it keeps your ratios consistent and it's still going to be the same distance in between gears. Now if you're bogging a certain gear, you might, oh, well, I don't know if you guys hear the train going by my house. That's odd. Okay, so I think I'm going to do one clean run, and then on the next run I'm going to, actually I'll show you guys the power band now, whatever, it's fine. That train is damn loud. As you saw, we left out the hole a little harder, so once you get that, I'm shifting up sound here. Once you get that, you're going to want to press down on the D-pad and you can look at where all your horsepower is. 8.8. Holy shit, that's fast. Excuse my language, but 8.8 and on a 305 Firebird, that's damn quick, guys. The friction assist off really, really helps you. Honestly, I don't know if this, I mean, as a baseline tune, this car's really quick. But as I was saying, you want to press down on the D-pad and look at where your horsepower is starting to drop off at. If it's only losing like 10 horsepower on the big end, you're fine. If it's losing like 40, you're going to want to shift a little earlier. And just because of the reason you'll be making more horsepower in a certain gear. But most of the time, if you're running the NASCAR motor, you're going to be revving it out all the way. Let's go ahead and just do another run back to back here and see if that actually... if this tune's just set in stone already, because I mean we could obviously spend a couple hours even tuning a car to its maximum potential. Like you guys see my drag build, sometimes I spend 30 minutes and a car goes fast, sometimes I spend 2 hours and the car's, you know, going fast. This car's just hooking and booking at the time though, not bogging any gears. It's really perfectly set up. I could probably adjust the final drive a little more for a little more acceleration, but you know, an 8.8 personal best on a quick 10-minute tune, as you guys saw, not even 10 minutes. That's really good. So I hope you guys learned a lot in today's video. Let me know what you guys want to see down below. Obviously this build tutorial was for rear wheel drive cars. I'm gonna have an all-wheel one coming out to you guys soon. Let me know if you guys are excited for that down below. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys have a good one.